are live. Welcome to Consult the Blind Guy. My name is Andrew. In today's episode, we are covering Leda Day 21. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can stay updated on the latest videos, live streams, and more. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for joining me in this live stream. We are going to cover Leda Day 21.
Disappointed by reality, trying to come back, start something new, build up yourself, it's all to you. Stay strong no matter what they say, you keep getting better every day. Hold your head up, never gonna stop, fearless and proud, stand up and shout. Stand my ground.
Welcome to the live stream. My name is Andrew, and today we're going to cover Leda Day 21. How are we going to handle the nerves to be able to better help our audience? Well, as most of you already know, I've been doing pretty good at actually handling my nerves to help our audience here. In fact, I've become so confident over these last 3 weeks that I really don't have as much nerves when I hit that go live button no more. Even sitting here now, I might be sweating, but it's not from nerves. It's more of the wonderful temperatures that we have outside. Pardon me, coffee burps, sorry. So I really don't have anything I have to do, pretty much. They want me today to discuss how I plan on making myself think about my nerves, how I can improve on that to give you, the audience, a better expression here on the stream, so you know that this is about you and not about me. And as I said, we all pretty much know over the last 3 weeks that I've done a lot of improvement, and it's all because of you all here being encouraging and supporting and giving me that feedback of giving you value and showing you that you aren't alone in this community. And I thank you all for that, because this would not be possible without all of you. So thank you all very much. Whether you're a subscriber or whether you're just a viewer, I greatly appreciate everybody here. And I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to be here and share these experiences with you, so you know that there is somebody you can reach out to, somebody that is here to help you, whether you want to get off of disability or grow your channel or build your content up to be able to have a community of your own. And that is my ultimate goal, is to help you. So thank you all very much for everything that you've helped me accomplish within the last 3 weeks. So with that said, I would like to open this up to another Ask Me Anything. If you have any questions about me personally, about the channel, about the content, anything you want, I will answer. I do actually have a couple things to fill you in on, just so you are aware. I no longer have Patreon. I have completely deleted my account with Patreon, and if you are on disability, I suggest that you read through the terms of use and determine for yourself whether or not it is something you want to deal with. Unfortunately, I am not going to risk losing my income to get money from subscribers or patrons on that platform anymore. Unfortunately, due to the change of terms of service, they have increased the amount of fees by percentage and cent-wise of what they're going to charge you to use that platform and get money. As well as, are you ready for this one? Now Patreon is going to charge you tax on top of what they already charge you for the percentage and the small fee on top of that percentage. And they're not going to pay that tax that they collect from you off of that money, and they're going to hold it for themselves and deep in their own pocket. And then you are then going to be reported to the IRS for earned income, and you will have to pay that tax for every single cent that you make off of that platform. And I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Unfortunately, with the restrictions of Social Security, any money that we make, they will take every cent. And in some cases, pardon, in some cases, they will actually take your entire check. So I can't do that. I'm already low income. I've never been above the poverty mark in my entire life. Even when I did have a job, never once have I ever been over the poverty mark. And for me to be on low income and on those restrictions, I can't afford Social Security taking whatever little bit I get from Patreon or any other source, as well as extra on top of that to punish us for that income. So, unfortunately, the whole Patreon thing is right out the window. There is no longer going to be a membership thing like that for me. Now, if they ever choose to go back to the old system to where we don't have to worry about that kind of thing, then maybe I will go back to Patreon. But for right now, the way that they've got it set up, there is no way in hell I am going to risk my income to get donations from viewers or subscribers. So if you actually wanted to do that, I do appreciate you considering it, but right now it's not going to happen. I am actually going to set up my PayPal to where it is easier for me to do it that way and be able to get any kind of donations or contributions that you wish to give. This is not a requirement. I do not want you to feel like I'm saying, hey, give me money. If you wish to contribute to me, I am more than thankful and willing to take that contribution or donation and put it to good use for this channel. In fact, I am actually looking into doing that in the same way that Pat Flynn is doing it on his channel. If I get donations, it's going to go to a charitable contribution like the Foundation Fighting Blindness or the Retina Foundation of the Southwest. And I really like the Retina Foundation of the Southwest because that's where I was for my clinical trial. They paid for my eye test, they paid for my transportation in Texas, they paid for my plane ticket, my hotel room, my food. They paid for everything. It didn't cost me a single cent. And even when it did, when I would pay for it, I was reimbursed in full for everything that I did actually have to pay for during that clinical trial. So I'm actually going to be setting my stuff up with PayPal so that if I do get contributions or donations from any of you viewers, that it is going to go to something that is beneficial to our community, whether it's the Retina Foundation or Foundation Fighting Blindness or the Association for the Blind, Commission for the Blind, Heritage for the Blind, just to name a few. These are charities that I believe in and actually help our community. And that's what I want to do if I get contributions, is to give back to those facilities that are here to help us. And if I at any point choose to take contributions in my own way for myself, it's not going to be for me. It will actually be for the channel to be able to do giveaways or contests or just to do like a fan or viewer appreciation day. I think that would be more beneficial in the sense that I can give back to all of you who are here to support me in this channel on this journey to get off of disability. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to put all of it immediately right into the channel. As I said, I would like to give to charity and help improve the content here, but I am not trying to get rich off of all of you viewers. It would be nice to be able to have an alternative income in that way, but that is down the road. In my opinion, I'm not trying to rush making any kind of money or anything like that. If that happens, to me, it's a bonus. It is my ultimate goal to get myself off of disability, but it's more important to me to give back to our community and to help those in need. And I see that the chat is flying a little bit, so let's see who we have here with us today. Hey, Just Samson, what's going on, bro? Editing and but jumping in to support my bro. Thank you, Just Samson. Greatly appreciate you, brother. I hope you're having a good day. Still praying for your neighbors with that situation yesterday. That's definitely some crazy stuff. Hey, Kim, thank you for joining us today. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Samson. Good to know that I'm looking good today. Greatly appreciated. I don't blame you. If I was on SSI, I would have an LLC for any business income to go into. At least on SSDI, I can learn close to 2,000 a month in mining. Unfortunately, Kim, I am on disability because I was on supplemental up until a couple months ago, and they kind of forced me onto disability because my mother having her brain aneurysm and no longer able to work, she's now on Social Security, and because she was approved, they automatically forced me into disability. I was happy with just the 700 I got from supplemental. Unfortunately, because she got approved, Social Security automatically applied for me. Then they stated that I asked for it when I did not. I never wanted to have that extra money, though I am grateful for the extra $200, but still, they forced me into that. They started the paperwork and made me apply for it because if I did not apply for disability, they were going to cut me off entirely, which is stupid in my opinion. How can you force somebody who is already on supplemental security to apply for something that they had no clue about and then force them to apply? Because if you don't, we're going to take every cent we give you already. That to me is probably the most asinine thing I had ever seen from our government when it comes down to disability income. And unfortunately, I was told I cannot make a single cent. They tried saying that I could make up to $2,000 in a month, but when I actually talked to our local office, they told me no, you cannot make any earned income at all. Because the instant that I make any earned income, they're going to take that from my supplemental and disability benefits. And I can't do that because the instant that they do that, the last time I had that issue, they literally cut me down to $10 a month for an entire 9 months. I couldn't afford shit because that's all I had was $10 a month. Seriously. All I could afford at that time was a couple gallons of milk and a couple loaves of bread. Outside of that, I had no money. I could not afford my own bills. I had to borrow money from my own family to be able to pay for my cell phone, to be able to pay for my rent. Everything I had for an expense, I had to borrow so I could actually survive. So that's why I no longer have Patreon, because the instant that they say that you earn anything, they cut you right the hell off. At least that's how it is here for me in Michigan. And if that's not actually the case, then some of them, their social workers, need to figure out what the hell is going on with their system so we quit getting screwed. They also offered me the ticket to work. Again, they stated in there that you could make up to like $400 or $500 a month. But again, they stated in the same sentence that they will take from your benefits for every cent that you make. Again, makes no sense to me that you're going to punish us when you already know that we're low income and we have a very, very tight budget to live on. So, unfortunately, I had to close down Patreon and now I'm going to set up my PayPal. I already have a PayPal, but I'm going to set it up so that I can use it for this channel rather than just for me to pay for things online or to transfer money between me and family. Um, I and as far as the LLC, I had actually looked into doing that, and I was talking to a few friends a few weeks ago because I had considered doing an LLC. I also had considered doing a DBA, which is doing business as, and unfortunately, I can't do that either because an LLC and a DBA have the same exact requirements that you have to pay the same exact fees. You have to have your business license, your employee number, and all that good crap. And it's like, really? How can you do anything if it's going to hinder you in the sense that they're going to punish you for doing something like that? So, unfortunately, that's one reason I am working around these things, and that's why I have our group the way I have it. That way, I can share with you there privately, not here publicly, on ways that we can finagle around these restrictions. Because if we don't finagle around these restrictions, we're fucked. Sorry you put it that way, but that's how it is. We are literally fucked. And I don't want to be screwed by our government for making $5, $10, $20 in a month. Granted, $5, $10, $20 a month being taken away isn't a lot. You break even. But like I said, in some cases, they will look at that as an earned income. They'll take that amount and then they'll take more as a punishment on top of it. Can't do that. I can't. I'm already low income as it is, and I can't afford to be even lower on my income. Thanks for the heads up. I thought about making one, but always felt weird about Patreon. I do think it sucks that we are low income and can't find side things to make money with restrictions. Pikachu, we can if you do it right, we can. For instance, this is one I don't mind sharing publicly. If you want to do something to make a little bit of money on the side without getting in trouble, whatever you do, you can do it when you earn cash. As long as you're making cash money in hand rather than somebody going to like Patreon and contributing, or for instance, on PayPal, you have two different options. One is the goods and services tab, and then you have the family and friends tab. And that's what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to stipulate that if you contribute to me, it must be on the family and friends tab, because if you do it underneath the goods and services, PayPal will do the same thing as Patreon and they will consider it a earned income, and they will make you get a 1099 tax form which will state that you earn this amount of money and then you're going to have to pay on whatever amount you make each year. So when I do PayPal, it will be stipulated that if you contribute, it must be on the friends and family tab. And it's not that I'm trying to rip PayPal off of their dollar for processing. It's the simple fact that when they do that goods and services, they then consider you a business, report that income to the IRS. The IRS will then take that information, forward it to Social Security, and Social Security will then flag you with the IRS as earned income and take all that money from you, as well as punish you on top of it. So That is one way you can get around it, is to use PayPal with the friends and family part of it rather than the goods and services, as well as cash money in hand. Whether you go to somebody on Craigslist to do a little side job, or whether you help out a family member or friend, as long as they are paying you in cash, that's something you don't have to worry about reporting. The instant that you have a paper check or anything like that, then you're getting into that gray area of where they can track it and punish you for it. As I said, there are some ways that we can get around these things, and the only way I will share all that is in our private group. That way, we're not getting in trouble, because I don't feel like having feds at my door for giving the information that I do know about that kind of situation. I don't want to see any of us sit here on low income for the rest of our lives if we're trying to be independent and actually do something productive. Buymecoffee.com. I will definitely check that out, Samson. Thank you for the suggestion. In fact, I'm going to screenshot that so I can have it for future reference, so I can check it out after the stream today. They are messing everyone up on SSI right now. It's so bad for me. I had to make a GoFundMe. Um, I'm actually thinking about a GoFundMe, but at the same time, I'm not, because I don't know the entire ins and outs of their terms of service. Because I know even if you start your own GoFundMe, they might actually be able to consider that as earned income. I'm not 100% sure. I will be looking into it to double check. But if it was set up by somebody else, like a friend or a family member, that is actually going to receive that money for you and then give it to you, that might be more of an option. But don't quote me on that just yet. I have to do some research, because I don't want to give you false information or bad information. As I said, I can't stand liars, and that's why I haven't started one. I would much rather know exactly what the stipulations are and how it's going to affect us. Hey, Divided by Sight, thank you for joining us. Divided by Sight, no. You can, don't get me wrong, you can have a Patreon with it, but now that they've done this whole new change of service that they've done, they've increased the percentage as well as the cent rate, because it was originally like 1% and 5 cents and something like 3% and 10 cents per dollar, depending on what kind of plan you had for Patreon. But now that they've changed up the terms of use or terms of service, whichever way you want to call it, to me it's the same thing. They actually have it set now, Lauren, that if you use their platform, every every single dollar that you make, they're going to charge you the like 3% plus 10 cents per dollar, and then they're going to charge you tax on top of it. And I do believe the tax is going to be based on what state you're in for whatever sales tax they have. And they take that tax payment out of your money, your donations from the contributors, and they hold it. They do not pay that tax for you. They just merely take it for themselves and that company deep in their own pockets, kind of like Amazon and Walmart does. And you then get a tax form in the mail stating you earn this amount of money throughout the year, and then you would have to pay in on all of that money you earned. So to me, no, it is not worth it on SSI or SSDI. To me, it is more of a hindrance now than what it was in the past. Unfortunately, That's why I deleted my account with Patreon last night. I, like you, am on disability or SSI, SSDI, and we already have low income. We cannot afford for them to come in and go, okay, we're going to charge you tax on top of these contributions, and then we're going to tell the IRS that you made money so that you're going to have to pay in. And then Social Security is going to look at us and go, oh, well, you've pretty much got a job or you're making money. So now we're going to take every cent that you just made. And in some cases, they will take your entire check. So it's really up to you on what you are willing to do and what you're willing to risk. Myself, I don't want to risk losing any money. I can't afford it. So I'm working on finding us alternatives compared to Patreon. Just Samson just gave a good suggestion a minute ago that I will be checking out today after the stream to see what their terms of service are to determine if it's going to be something viable for us on Social Security. If it is, then I will let everybody know in our group. If it's not, I will let everybody know. I don't want to see any of us losing money or being in trouble for anything when it comes to us trying to get off of disability. To me, it's really not worth the risk of having to deal with them taking from us when we already have such a low income as it is. Just Samson, did you retract your statement or did YouTube do that? What's the group? Is there any way I can join? Vikachu, if you go on to Facebook and search Consult a Blind Guy Hangout, you will find our group. And yes, you can join. It is open to everybody. It is set to private just so we can have a little bit more of a security and we don't just have people coming in and harassing our community. That's the only reason it's set to private, is to secure it so we don't have to worry about harassment. Because that's my pretty much my only rule within our group, is to be respectful of each other. No hate speech, no cutting each other down, things like that. You could promote your page in there if you have content, and there's resources in there for our community and things like that. But I have it set to private just so we have that extra security blanket around us to prevent non-community members from joining to harass us or make sexual comments or anything like that. I would prefer to make it so that we have that safe environment to where we can vent if we want to. We can bitch about whatever the hell we want, and it's only us that are going to see it rather than the general public. But by all means, definitely join us on Facebook if you want to. Okay, thank you, Samson. I just wanted to make sure because I know Pat had made the comment the other day about how some of the comments have been disappearing and it wasn't done by the user in some cases. Really? That's interesting. I did not know about the white cane coffee. I will definitely be checking that out as well, Kim. Thank you. Yes, yes. If you're on Craigslist, definitely take cash. Do not take anything outside of that. You don't want to get in trouble. And you definitely don't want to be getting screwed over by anybody else either. Speaking of coffee, I'm going to pull a karma cash flow here, seeing as how we're talking about coffee. Don't want it to go cold, you know. In fact, Samson, would you be interested in being a moderator? If so, I will add you into the list after the stream. I could probably do it now, but it might create a bit of a lag. And I don't want to bring down the quality of the show while we're live. But if you're interested in that, brother, I will definitely add you. That way you can drop links and stuff like that. My mug lore is Michigan State Spartans. I'm a Sparty fan. I'm controversial. We're actually looking for a flag or something here at my mom's house to show that we are a house divided, because my mom is a Michigan Wolverines fan, which is blue and gold, and I am a Michigan State fan, which is green and white. So I'm kind of outnumbered, because you got my stepdad and my mom both like Michigan, and I like MSU. And it's her fault, honestly, that I like MSU, because she worked at a Shell gas station, and the Pepsi guy was there doing deliveries one day and gave her 4 free tickets to the Michigan State football rivalry game, which was hosted at Lansing that year. And I took a couple of my friends and we went to the game, and Michigan State literally like stomped the hell out of the Michigan Wolverines. And from that point on, I was a big fan, because for like 5 years in a row, MSU beat Michigan for the rivalry game. So I've been an MSU fan ever since. Prior to that game, I was a Michigan fan, but they started going downhill a little bit. And then we got to go to that game, and that's all it took for me. I converted to an MSU fan. Not to mention, green and white are actually my part of my family colors. As a native, Chief Pontiac, my great grandfather, when we had the war for 7 years between 1762 and 1769, before his assassination, my grandfather had a wampum belt that was green and white, and that was his signal to the other tribal warriors to go fight. The instant my grandfather dropped that green and white wampum belt, it was the sign to go to war, go attack. So I like MSU for a couple different reasons. Green and white, Spartans, the whole 300 aspect of a small group of warriors being able to go out and decimate the enemy. And as you can all tell, I'm a Marine, and the few is the proud, and I am one of the fewest and the proudest of the Marine Corps, one of 16. So that to me makes me more of a Spartan, because of the whole 300 aspect. And I like the colors. In fact, as you could see, I'm wearing my green and white right now, honoring all veterans. This is the shirt I made reference to the other day when we were talking about the Eagle staff and everything. This is the shirt that the elders gave me my first year back into the traditional circle as a dancer. Because when I go out as a traditional male dancer, I'm not only dancing for myself, but I'm dancing for all our veterans that have walked on that sacred journey, who have sacrificed, as well as those who are still here with us that are unable to actually go out and dance themselves, whether they're wheelchair bound or too old and unable to be able to participate in ceremonies. And I figured today would be a good day to wear it instead of wearing one of my darker shirts because I am like super, super hot today. It is hotter than hell outside right now. Uh, check the chat here real quick. Uh, yep, football iron. Yep. The gridiron. Oh yeah, I can hit you up after the show if you want to, brother. Thank you for joining us, Samson. Greatly appreciated, brother. I hope you have a good day and aren't working too hard out there in that heat, because I'm sure that it's hotter than hell over there in California. And staying safe, too, with all them damn wildfires going on as well. Hey, Aaron, brother, how are you doing? Greatly appreciated, brother. I hope you're having a good day as well. Looking forward to your stream on Sunday. That is for sure. Didn't you say 7 or 7:30 on Sunday, Aaron? Cuz you're East Coast, right? I want to make sure I get that in my schedule so I don't miss it. Yeah, I'm sure it's hot down there in Maryland. In fact, um Sue, who was in here yesterday with us, she's actually not far from you, Lauren. And we were talking about the weather the other day too. And it's just freaking crazy how things are going. We're supposed to be hitting 90 and higher again this week. So good old heat waves go from being cool for like 4 or 5 days into this massive shock all over again of high 80s into the 90s. Awesome. Thank you, Lauren, for checking that out for me while I'm on the live stream. Greatly appreciated. All right. We got about 15 minutes until we're at the top of the hour. Is she doing her live stream tonight? Sue, the lady that was in the chat with us yesterday, Sue Viscara, is one of my quarantine friends, just like Samson and Aaron. We're all from the same group of people that are following Pat Flynn on his channel, and that's my quarantine fam that has been coming to support me in doing these live streams. And I can't thank all of you guys in the quarantine fam for coming and showing your support and encouragement to this channel. I greatly appreciate all of you. And I can't thank you all enough for your advice and input and feedback in our Slack group so I can be more successful here on the channel, as well as in building my brand and making my business a possible future that will benefit our entire community. So thank you all, Slack fam, quarantine fam, for all your help, because without you guys and Pat Flynn, I would not be able to do a lot of the things that I am working on right now. In fact, I'm actually going to be launching a podcast here in the very near future. I was talking to one of my friends today, Tim, who's in our quarantine fam and has a podcast of his own, Men Leading Men, for those that might be interested in. But we were talking today about what I should name my podcast because I was kind of nervous of whether I should stick with Consult a Blind Guy or whether I should have something different. And I have been advised by everybody now that I need to stick with the same name I have to build my brand even further rather than switching it up even the slightest bit because everybody knows me the best as Consult a Blind Guy. And it rolls off the tongue easy. It's easy to remember. My name's already on all the other platforms, so it would just make it easier for everybody to find me that way. So in the next week or two, I will actually be doing a podcast launch. Right now, I am going to work on getting the content ready. That way I can repurpose some of it that I have here on the channel already for the podcast because not everything in the podcast will be the exact same as what's here on YouTube. There will be some of it that does get repurposed for the podcast, but I'm going to try and keep it a little bit of an even split. The only thing on it will be pertinent to podcast. For instance, like the Simple Tech series will not be a part of the podcast because that is a more visual aspect of being able to follow along on how to use Canva or StreamYard or any of the other platforms. And I'm curious if you need any help on any of the other platforms. Do you need help with Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Twitch, anything? Anything you need help on for another platform, please let me know because if you need that assistance, I will go through the process to learn it to help you along so it's easier for you to use and understand. That is one of my goals is to try and help our community to make things easier because there's a lot of them out there that don't consider us. As I said in my rant the other day, it pisses me off to no end that we're always the last ones to be considered in our community. You know, this whole pandemic has shut down every one of our facilities geared to help us, and to me, that's wrong. We should be considered just as important as everybody else when it comes down to having them organizations that help us. I believe that they should be a part of the essential workforce so we can have our opportunity to get O&M training, go to counseling, or not even counseling, but support groups, kind of like counseling, or whether we need eye tests, whether we need assistive technology, anything like that, to me, seems like it should be just as important as everybody else. But unfortunately, we're not in that classification, so that's why I'm going to be working on doing some of the O&M videos to assist our community. And Kim had mentioned the other day about can't remember the name of the channel. What is it? What is it? Drawing a blank already. But I know it was about traveling. It's pretty sad. I done forgot already. I'm going to have to go back through the comments so I can actually see the name of it again. But I remember she had mentioned that there is a channel that does talk about O&M already. But I want to check out how they go about it and maybe collaborate with them on O&M training, or maybe I can improve on the way that they do the O&M training in their videos because I've been using a cane since I was 16 years old, and I'm going to be 35 in October, so I have a lot of experience when it comes to O&M, especially because of using echolocation. I actually surprised my O&M instructor because of my hearing. I could differentiate where things were. I knew when sprinklers were running, and I knew exactly how to avoid getting wet by the sprinkler because I could hear good enough to avoid every little drop of water that was coming out. Excuse me. I hadn't of Anchor until now. I was actually recommended by some of the quarantine community to use Buzzsprout because you can actually use their platform for 90 days for free. And after 90 days, you can continue to use the free platform, but it will remove your older podcasts. And if you upgrade to the paid version, it's like $12 a month, and then your podcast will stay on there permanent. But I will definitely check out Anchor as well to see what their features are, and as well as Buzzsprout, because I want to see what's accessible and what's not, so I can possibly make recommendations. Hey, Greg. Yes, actually, I will be doing podcasting as well as YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. And I'm on everything, brother. Literally, Snapchat, TikTok. I am on every platform I could find right off the bat. I don't have content on all of them just yet, but I am slowly but surely getting content on every platform to get Consult a Blind Guy out there to have more of a reach for our community, because it's not about me, it's about helping our community. And I know that all of us here in this community, especially all of you, have input that will be beneficial to our community besides here on YouTube. And that's why I'm going across these platforms, is so we can help educate the sighted about what we deal with on a daily basis, about our different eye conditions that cause our blindness, as well as to show that our community does have its own little support system if they want to reach out to us. Kim, yes, I was actually considering that today, that I would probably do the podcast regular and then take that as well and make a separate channel just for the Consult a Blind Guy podcast here on YouTube as well. That way it would be a little bit more easy to find in some cases for people, and make it so that there's multiple ways to find it besides just on the podcast platforms, whether it's iTunes or Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever other network, because I want it to get out to as many people as absolutely possible. Blind on the Move. Thank you, Kim. I'm screenshotting that so I don't forget again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anchor has its own problems, though. Can you give me a little bit of info on them problems, Greg? I would love to know. If you want to put it here in the chat or post it in the group, I would be greatly appreciative. This way, we can help our community in general. Because I want to see all of us succeed at what we want to accomplish, whether it's podcasting, YouTube, Twitch, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, anything that our community wants to do. I am more than willing to help out, whether it's something I already know how to do or whether it's something I have to learn to be able to help our community. Okay, let's see if I missed anything here. Um, awesome. Thank you, Pikachu. I will definitely be looking to see if Leah is going live tonight. I actually have to post in our Blind Lounge page because I wanted to see if Chris and Leah and Joanne and Lulu wanted to come on here as well. So we can have more of the discussions like we did on their channel or on Leah's channel the other night. Because I know that between all of us, we have a nice little community going between everybody that we can bounce back and forth between channels for our communities and spread more of our message about inclusion and non-discrimination and educating everybody about what we deal with and answering their questions. And I hope that by doing it that way, that not only will we help each other grow our channels and brands, but we'll be able to cross these platforms together and help share more to the community in general, whether it's the blind community to know that they have the support system here with all of us, or whether it's educating the sighted about what we deal with. If you decide to leave Anchor, they have it very difficult to get control of your RSS feed. Interesting. That's good to know. Um, it makes me a little bit curious of why they make it difficult to be able to control your RSS feed. I wonder what their reasoning behind that is. Um, what that means, Lauren, is when you create your podcast, they give you this little link, and that link is what you would give to like Apple iTunes or Spotify or any of the other platforms. You would drop that link for your podcast onto their platform, and it would make it so that your podcast populates on all those platforms. And it's the easiest way for you to be able to have your podcast get distributed. And it's a unique link just to you. And if you have that link and then they make it difficult for you to keep that link, then you would have to go and create a whole entire another process of your podcast in order to have a new RSS feed to be able to reshare it back to those platforms for your podcast information to get put out for everybody to find. I hope that makes sense. Because I only know a little bit about it because of learning from my quarantine fam who have been doing podcasting for a while now. And that is my basic understanding is your RSS feed is a very unique link just for your podcast that you put out on the other platforms. So it takes your information for the podcast and puts it there. No. When you create your podcast, it whatever platform you're on, they distribute to that platform. It is your responsibility to take that RSS feed link and go to Apple and submit it for them to use it, and go to Spotify or any of the other ones. You're the one that has to go out and actually give that link for it to cross populate, whether it's on Google, whether it's iTunes, anything. It's you that has to put that out there. If you're on just one platform right now, like Anchor, for instance, that's the only one that they'll be able to find you on unless you go out and share it yourself to the other ones. In fact, would that be something that interests you guys? Would you like me to have somebody come on for another interview and talk about what it takes to actually do a podcast and how to distribute to the other platforms? Because if that's something you would like, I do know quite a few people who have been doing podcasts for quite a long time. In fact, one of them would be Pat Flynn himself, who is a pro at podcasting. He's absolutely amazing. And I'm sure if I asked Pat, he would be more than willing to spend a few minutes with us here on the channel to help us do something like that. Because Pat is absolutely freaking awesome. I can't thank Pat enough for all the help that he's given me. Every day I'm on his income stream and chatting with everybody in the quarantine. And as I said yesterday, I had to leave that few minutes early so I could go to office hours with Pat. And ironically, some of our friends that were here yesterday, Aaron and Just Samson and Sue and a few others that are in the quarantine, we actually left from my stream and went right to the same office hours with Pat. And I'm curious, have any of you by chance signed up for Pat's courses? If you haven't, I really recommend that you do, because with it being free right now, it is a very good opportunity for you to be able to learn what you need to be able to start a business from the ground up. If not, that's totally fine, because I have all that information myself and I can share with you what I have learned already. Course, I can't give you his course, but I do have the information that I can share with you from learning off of that course. Well, unless you choose to distribute your RSS feed from the beginning, when you first sign on to Anchor, they ask if you want them to do it for you. Interesting. That's good to know, Greg. Thank you. Because I know that's one of the things that's a little bit hard, because some of them say they will, some of them say they won't, and they'll state that you have to do it yourself. So that's why I'm looking at into all avenues, just like normal on everything. But we are at the top of the hour, so if you have any last minute questions, feel free to pop them in the chat real quick, and I will finish up answering those before we close out today's stream. I'll wait a few seconds here so I can see if there's any quick questions, because I don't want to like cut you off, because I know there is a delay between me and the chat. What one do you use, Greg? Or are you not podcasting yet? Because if you are podcasting, I'd like to know your channel name or your podcast name. That way I can find you as well. Lauren, is your yes to you would like somebody to come on about podcasting, or yes that you signed up for Pat's course? All right, Greg, I will see about Pat coming on. He was just on one of my friend's channels yesterday talking about podcasting. That might actually interest you as well. If you check out Karma Cash Flow, all one word, here on YouTube, um, his episode yesterday was about podcasting, and he had Pat Flynn on there, so that might be beneficial. Otherwise, I will definitely hit up Pat himself and see if he would be willing to come on, because I know that most likely he would be more than willing to, because he's an awesome guy. He's really down to earth, super helpful. Alright. I'm not seeing any more comments come in. Haven't started podcasting yet. Been researching for about a year. Alright. I will definitely hit you up in our Facebook group. In fact, I will share the video from Karma in there. That way you could check that out as well. And I will email Pat here in a few minutes and see about possibly having him on the channel as well. I know he's been super busy with everything for his business and stuff, but I will see if there's a possibility that maybe we can get him on before the end of the month or here in the very near future. But I will definitely hit you up in the group on Facebook, Greg, and we can talk about your podcast and stuff like that so we could figure out which route you want to go as well, brother. But we are at the couple minutes over the top of the hour, so I would like to thank everybody for coming and joining me today. I do greatly appreciate you. If you are new here, please don't forget to hit the bell icon so you can stay updated on the latest videos and more. And I hope that everybody here had a good hour chat and learned a little bit today. I'm looking forward to reading your comments below. If you are here watching this in the replay, don't forget to comment with hashtag Team Replay so I know that you've seen this and it's not staying stagnant, just sitting there. I greatly appreciate everybody coming and joining today. Just Samson, Aaron Waller, Divided by Sight, Kim Lackey, The Blind Guy Show, Vikachu, I greatly appreciate all of you. I can't thank you enough for coming and supporting the channel and chatting with me. I hope that you all have a wonderful afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the country and around the world. And I will see you tomorrow at the same time in the same place, 2:05 Eastern. And I hope that we can have some good conversations within the group. If you haven't joined us already, don't forget to check us out on Facebook. I do have a page as well as the Hangout group. Just search for Consult a Blind Guy and it will come up for you. I hope everybody has a good day and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks again, everyone.